When we think of ancient Greece, our minds often conjure images of grand temples, heroic battles, and the profound words of philosophers. But what was life truly like for the vast majority of people who lived in these ancient city-states? To understand their world, we must step away from the monumental and enter the everyday, into the homes and routines of ordinary Greek citizens. For most, home was a modest dwelling, a sanctuary built from readily available materials like sun-dried mud brick, often strengthened with a stone foundation. Imagine waking up in a modest dwelling, perhaps sharing a sleeping space with other family members. Beds might have been simple wooden frames with straw-filled mattresses, or even just mats laid on the floor. As the sun rose, the central courtyard would have filled with light, becoming a hub of activity. The courtyard, or hall, wasn't just a source of light. It was often where daily chores took place. Women might grind grain, prepare food over a small brazier, or fetch water from a nearby well or public fountain. In warmer months, it could also serve as a sleeping area. Privacy, as we understand it, was limited, and life within the home was often communal. The woman of the house played a crucial role in managing the household. Her days would have been filled with tasks like weaving textiles for clothing and blankets, a labor-intensive but essential activity. She would oversee the preparation of meals, care for the children, and manage any household slaves. Her responsibilities were vital to the smooth functioning of the family unit. The father, when not working in the fields or his craft, would have been involved in the upbringing of his sons, particularly as they grew older. He might have shared his knowledge of farming, his trade, or the stories and traditions of their ancestors. For daughters, their mother would be their primary teacher, preparing them for their future roles as wives and mothers. Children's lives, though simpler by our standards, would have included play with basic toys made from wood or clay. As they grew, their responsibilities within the household would increase. Boys would begin to learn the skills of their father's trade or assist with agricultural tasks, while girls would learn domestic skills from their mothers. For households that included slaves, their presence would have significantly impacted the dynamics of daily life. Enslaved individuals might perform a wide range of tasks, from the most menial chores to skilled labor, depending on their abilities and the needs of the household. Their lives were often difficult, marked by a lack of freedom and the constant possibility of mistreatment. They were, however, an undeniable part of the social fabric, and their contributions were essential to the functioning of many ancient Greek homes. For the vast majority of ordinary ancient Greeks, life revolved around the fundamental need to provide for themselves and their families. The economy of the ancient Greek city-states was primarily agrarian, meaning that farming was the backbone of their existence. Many citizens would have owned small plots of land outside the city walls, where they cultivated staple crops like grains, wheat, and barley, olives, grapes for wine, and various fruits and vegetables. The work of a farmer was often arduous and dependent on the seasons. Entire families would have been involved in planting, tending, and harvesting crops, their lives closely tied to the rhythms of nature. Tools were simple, and techniques were often passed down through generations. Beyond agriculture, craftsmanship played a vital role in the economy. Within the city, skilled artisans and craftsmen produced a variety of goods essential for daily life. Potters created vessels for storage and transport, carpenters crafted furniture and tools, blacksmiths worked with metal, and weavers produced textiles for clothing and household use. These craftsmen often had small workshops attached to their homes and might have sold their wares directly to the public. For city-states located near the coast, trade and seafaring were also important economic activities. Merchants would have transported goods by sea, connecting different regions and bringing in resources that were not readily available locally. This could include timber, metals, and specialized goods. Many ordinary citizens might have been involved in supporting these activities as sailors, dockworkers, or those who provided services to travelers. The heart of the city's economic and social life was the agora, the central marketplace. Here, farmers would bring their produce to sell, craftsmen would offer their wares, and merchants would trade their goods. The agora was a vibrant hub of activity, a place not only for commerce, but also for social interaction and the exchange of news and ideas. For ordinary citizens, a visit to the agora was likely a regular part of their lives, whether to buy necessities, sell surplus goods, or simply to connect with their community. The daily lives of many ordinary Greeks were intimately connected to the land. Agriculture was the foundation of their economy, and they were skilled in cultivating the often dry terrain. Farmers relied on tools like the sickle for harvesting grains, such as wheat and barley, and used plows, sometimes tipped with iron and pulled by oxen for those who could afford them, to till the soil. They understood the importance of the land, employing techniques like crop rotation and using manure to enrich the soil. To combat the dry climate, they developed ingenious irrigation systems, including simple canals and trenches to bring water to their fields. Even the hillsides were utilized through terracing, which helped to conserve precious water and prevent soil erosion. Within the cities and towns, the skilled hands of craftsmen shaped the materials around them into essential goods. Potters were particularly important, using the potter's wheel to form vessels of all shapes and sizes, from large amphorae for storing wine and oil to elegant kylikes for drinking. Their craft was a blend of functionality and artistry, often decorated with distinctive styles like the black figure and later the red figure techniques, telling stories and depicting scenes from mythology and daily life. The firing process itself was a carefully controlled three-stage affair, resulting in the characteristic glossy finish we see on surviving ancient pottery. For coastal city-states, the sea offered another vital avenue for sustenance and economic activity. Merchant ships, sturdily built from wood like pine and oak, with broad hulls designed to carry cargo, connected different parts of the Greek world and beyond. Propelled by square sails and sometimes oars, these vessels transported essential goods such as grain, olive oil, wine, and the very pottery crafted in their workshops, alongside metals and other valuable commodities. While the sleek trireme was the famed warship of the Greek fleets, it was these more humble merchant vessels that formed the arteries of their trade networks. The pursuit of knowledge and the development of the mind were highly valued in ancient Greece, though access to formal education was not universal. For boys in citizen families, particularly in a vibrant intellectual center like Athens, learning began early. They might first be taught basic reading and writing at home by their mothers or a household slave. As they grew older, boys from more privileged backgrounds would often attend private schools or be tutored individually. The curriculum went beyond mere literacy, encompassing the memorization of epic poetry, such as the works of Homer, which served as a cornerstone of their culture, imparting tales of heroes, gods, and moral lessons. Music, often played on instruments like the lyre, was also considered an essential part of a well-rounded education. Physical education was equally important. Young men would spend time in the gymnasia, public spaces dedicated to athletic training. Activities like running, wrestling, and throwing the discus and javelin were not just for physical fitness, but were seen as integral to developing courage, discipline, and a sense of civic duty, preparing them for potential military service and participation in the life of the polis. For those who could afford it, education extended into adolescence and adulthood, delving into more advanced subjects. The art of rhetoric, persuasive speaking, was crucial for participation in the democratic assemblies. Philosophy, the love of wisdom, began to flourish, with thinkers like Socrates questioning conventional beliefs and laying the groundwork for future philosophical schools. Mathematics and the study of the natural world also began to emerge as areas of intellectual inquiry. While formal education was largely the domain of male citizens, the vibrant intellectual life of ancient Greece extended beyond the classroom. Public debates in the agora, the performance of thought-provoking plays in open-air theaters, and the informal gatherings of thinkers all contributed to a culture that valued reason, inquiry, and the exchange of ideas. This intellectual ferment laid the foundation for many of the philosophical, scientific, and political concepts that continue to influence our world today. It is important to remember that this level of education and engagement in intellectual life was primarily for male citizens. While there were exceptions and some women certainly achieved intellectual prominence, their access to formal education was generally limited. Nevertheless, the emphasis on learning and the pursuit of knowledge by male citizens laid the foundation for many of the intellectual and philosophical traditions that have shaped Western civilization. Beyond their homes, work, and for some education, the daily lives of ancient Greeks were rich with social customs and traditions that shaped their interactions and sense of community. The polis, the city-state, was not just a political entity, but the very center of their social and cultural identity. The rhythm of daily life in ancient Greece was also heavily influenced by their social customs and traditions. Simple greetings and gestures of respect were important in their interactions. Hospitality, the welcoming of guests, was considered a sacred duty, reflecting the importance of community and the potential for travelers to need shelter and assistance. Family and community ties were incredibly strong. While the household formed the basic unit, individuals also identified strongly with their deme, a local district within the city-state, and their wider network of friends and fellow citizens. Public festivals and religious celebrations brought people together, reinforcing their shared identity and providing opportunities for social interaction. Religious practices were woven into the fabric of daily life. Ancient Greeks believed in a pantheon of gods and goddesses who intervened in human affairs. They sought to appease these deities through prayers, sacrifices, and offerings at temples and household shrines. Public festivals often honored specific gods, featuring processions, athletic contests, and theatrical performances. Even everyday activities might be punctuated by small acts of piety, reflecting their deep connection to the divine. Leisure and entertainment provided important breaks from the demands of work. Attending the theater was a significant cultural experience, with citizens gathering to watch tragedies that explored profound human themes and comedies that offered social commentary through humor. Athletic competitions, from local games to the pan-Hellenic events like the Olympics, were sources of great pride and excitement. In their free time, people might also engage in conversation, play board games, or enjoy music and storytelling. As we've touched upon before, the agora served as a vital social hub. Beyond its economic function, it was a place where citizens could meet, discuss the latest news and political developments, and engage in philosophical debate. It was the heart of the polis, a space where social bonds were strengthened and the collective life of the city unfolded. Through these customs and daily interactions, the ancient Greeks forged a rich and complex social fabric. Their lives, while perhaps simpler in material terms than our own, were deeply embedded in a web of relationships, traditions, and shared beliefs that provided meaning and structure to their existence. Clothing was generally simple and practical, adapted to the warm Mediterranean climate. The most common garment was the chiton, a tunic made of linen or wool, often fastened at the shoulders and belted at the waist. Over this, men might wear a himation, a larger rectangular cloak draped over one shoulder. Women wore similar tunics, often longer, and might also wear a peblis, a heavier woolen garment. Footwear typically consisted of sandals. Food and dining were often simple affairs for ordinary citizens. Their diet, as mentioned earlier, revolved around staples like grains, olives, olive oil, wine, fish, and vegetables. Meat was less common. Meals were often eaten sitting on stools or the ground, and communal dining was a significant social activity, whether within the family or at public gatherings. Religion and beliefs permeated every aspect of ancient Greek life. They believed in a pantheon of gods and goddesses who were thought to influence human affairs. Religious rituals, sacrifices, festivals, and processions were common occurrences, both at the public and private level. Household shrines were maintained to honor the family's patron deities, and seeking the guidance of oracles was not unusual. Leisure and entertainment provided important outlets for social interaction and relaxation. Attending theatrical performances, tragedies, and comedies was a popular pastime. Even simple gatherings for conversation and storytelling played a vital role in community life. The agora was not just a marketplace, it was also a central space for social interaction and the exchange of ideas. Citizens would gather here to discuss politics, philosophy, and the events of the day. This public sphere was crucial for the functioning of the democratic city-states, where male citizens had the right to participate in decision-making. The daily life of an ordinary ancient Greek citizen was a tapestry woven with the threads of family, work, community, and their deeply held beliefs. While vastly different from our own, understanding their routines and customs offers a profound insight into the foundations of Western culture and the enduring nature of human experience. Stepping into the sandals of an ordinary ancient Greek citizen reveals a world both familiar and strikingly different from our own. Their lives, though often modest and shaped by the rhythms of nature and the demands of their community, were rich with purpose, connection, and a deep sense of belonging to their polis. From the simple yet central role of the family and the daily efforts to sustain themselves through agriculture and craft, to the importance of civic life, religious observance, and the pursuit of knowledge for some, their existence was a testament to the enduring human needs for community, meaning, and understanding the world around them. While the grand narratives of history often focus on the elite and the extraordinary, it is in the lives of ordinary people that we find the true foundations of civilizations. By understanding their daily struggles, their joys, and their customs, we gain a deeper appreciation for the legacy they left behind, a legacy that continues to shape our world in countless ways. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the life of an ordinary ancient Greek. If you enjoyed this glimpse into the past, be sure to like this video and subscribe to Threads of Great History for more explorations of the human story across the ages. What aspects of ancient Greek life did you find most surprising or interesting? Share your thoughts in the comments below.